Africa, say it louder. Say Salam alaikum, assalamu alaikum, salam alaikum, assalamu alaikum, salam alaikum, assalamu alaikum, salam alaikum, assalamu alaikum.
Ustaz Ayuen, good to see you there. Good afternoon, my dear brother. Nanakot, good to see you. All right, salam alaikum. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, whatever you tune in today. Concerned Citizen of South Sudan is live tonight. with the top below the screen there, you can see السياسي الراهن في السودان الجنوبي. Current political cases that we are going to address tonight. The visit of President Salva Kiir to Ethiopia and actually talking to mediate between the government of Ethiopia and the Tigray region that have fallout fighting the central government in Ethiopia. That's one. And also the visit of the Vice President Hussein Abdulbagi to Eastern Equatoria State and actually coming out with a very controversial statement, not only controversial statement, that statement actually aligning with what we have been saying here for quite some time, saying that the people of Eastern Equatoria, do not be deceived by those who are in Juba. Do not follow them. Those people are dividing people. Well, Mr. Vice President, you are one of them. You are in Juba. You are a politician in Juba too. And again, to the people of South Sudan to be aware that we have been saying this in numerous times that actually people of South Sudan have been deceived by those who are in Juba, and the government in Juba actually is the one that dividing all the entire nation, divide and rule. And this is what they have been. So the statement by Abdulbagi Ayi, the Vice President, actually is a confession and what we have been saying to the people of South Sudan, that this is the government that divide people so they can remain in power. Not only that, also in Western Equatoria, kids were giving some medication when they felt like there is some poison in the schools, but unfortunately that medication has a bad reaction. So we will get to the bottom of that, why such a thing are happening. And also in the program tonight, I will have a guest here, Ustaz Dengdi Ayok, so we can continue with this program. But above all, I welcome all of you to this very humble concerned citizen of South Sudan. Urahib Bekum. I know last week I wasn't here. I was doing some other businesses. That's why Ustaz Abdullah Garang sat in for me, and he conducted very credible live broadcast last Saturday. Tonight, as you can see in my background, I am not in my own studio in Seattle, Washington. I am currently in Omaha, Nebraska. We are live from Omaha, Nebraska today. I'm here on the memorial service of the late General Botrus Bulbul. That's why I'm here tonight in Iowa. So we are going to conduct this show for only 1 hour. Not more than that, because there is a purpose of coming here tonight, which is to attend these memorial services of late General Botrus Bulbul. Most of you have known him. He's a man of the people. He's a soldier. He's a general. He's a brother. He's a husband. He's a father. He's a citizen who have a heart to his people. He have fought a lot. Many of you have known that. He restricted those of, Arab Maseria, those who are coming to the northern Bahar Ghazal and attack every time in the area of Kiradem and other places. So he's the man that actually stood firm to defend the integrity of the country and the people of South Sudan in that particular, part of the country. So I welcome all of you, the viewers of Concerned Citizen of South Sudan tonight. As I mentioned this, we are talking about the current political situation in the country and talking about President Kiir actually saying that his visit to Ethiopia, saying that he wants to mediate between the government of Ethiopia and the Tigray region that fall out, that fighting the government in Ethiopia. It raised a lot of questions, and the question that are raising tonight, we are still have political crisis in our country. President Salva Kiir, his own brothers, Paul Malongawan and Thomas Chirilo, they are fighting. They are still fighting with him. And they are not even, Paul Malong is not even fighting with the gun now. They cease, fighting with the gun because they signed the cessation of hostilities. But yet President Kiir refused. And you can recall that from last month's statement that actually is not going to continue with the peace talk that started with San Digidio in Rome. So it raised a lot of questions when President Kiir saying that, he's going to mediate between the rival in Ethiopia. At the same time, in his backyard, with his own brothers, He cannot sit down at the table and diagnose the issues and bring peace, lasting peace to the people of South Sudan. Think about that. And that's why, it kind of, a hypocrisy here in reality. This is the hypocrisy. You cannot say that I'm going to bring peace among those, I'm going to mediate them, and you cannot mediate yourself with your brother. You cannot get along with your own brother. All right. So, statement by Vice President Hussein Abdul Baghi in Eastern Equatoria State that actually into matters small, le mean, le nazal fi Juba del, lan nazal fi Juba del, ya bugassum nas, siyasin fi Juba del bugassum nas. Who are those siyasin in Juba? Are you not one of them? Are you not one of those politicians in Juba? Okay, now you are trying to distance yourself from that core of politicians in Juba. What about what we have been saying for quite very long time, that actually Hakuma al-Mawjuda fi Juba, they survived when they divide people. And this has been their recipe. They've been using political deception for a very long time, coming out with this agenda, and then the citizen will follow, and then later, they will withdraw with it, and then start another one, and then withdraw from it, just to buy time. Now, is that the confession for what we have been saying for a very long time, that actually the government in Juba is the one that dividing the people of South Sudan? Is that the confession by Hussein Abdul Baghi when he visited Eastern Equatoria and talking to the people of Eastern Equatoria? Do not listen to those who divide people in Juba. That's a confession. We will get to the bottom on that. As I said, these are the issues that needed really to be addressed. What kind of medication that has been given to the children, student in Western Equatoria? Because we have heard and we have seen, very, very graphic pictures, and what happened there. And I can read here, حسب تصريحات وزير الصحة بولاية غرب الاستوائية، الطلاب في مقاطعة إيبا تم إعطائهم دواء لمكافحة الديدان. يعني ما كان في مسألة كده بيقول قال في ديدان في بطونيال، وفي تحقيقات جارية الآن لمعرفة ما جرى للطلاب عقب تناولهم الأقراط، حيث إن جميع الأطفال الذين تناولوا تلك الأقراط أصيبوا بالإعياء، بقى عيانين شديد، وتم أخذهم إلى المستشفى في مريدي. كما إنه تم زيادة الكادر الطبي بالمستشفى للتعامل مع الحالات لحد هنا والخبر انتهى. ربنا يستر يا جماعة لأطفال بتاعنا الموجودين في مناطق دي. كلام عجيب ده لقيته كمان حسب كلام الوزير، والأخت لوشيا كمان شارك الموضوع ده في البيج بتاعه. دي زي ما أنا قلت لكم، دي المواضيع كلها نحن جايين نتكلم فيها اليوم مع أستاذ دينجديت أيوك. We wanted to remind you, and we always keep reminding you, إنه الحكومة الموجودة دي أنتوا شايفين السلام اللي كان بغنوها، السلام اللي كان بيقول يا أخي they wanted to peace agreement with an IO، بقى ما في محال، ما في implementation للسلام، ولا 1% has not been implemented. أنتوا عارفين the fallout and the كيتغوان اللي كنا سميناه وقال كونوه في وين، في northern upper Nile. سامعين الحاصل اليومين دول بجي جوبا اشتراهم بالقروش. وعلى فكره هنا في كاركتر كده كاريكاتير كده اننا كنا شاركناه، الجماعه دي خلاص جابوا لهم قروش ورايحين وين؟ رايحين جوبا. هنا بدينا شنو square one. It's the same scenario that President Kiir has been using for a very long time. So nothing new, and people of South Sudan are the one that will continue to suffer and suffer and suffer. So you, my dear brothers and sisters, the concerned citizen, the citizen of South Sudan, what is your take on this? Should we continue with this crisis forever and ever, or should we arise beyond and say enough is enough? And that's why we at the United Citizens for Change, we have been talking about how this government need to be removed by peaceful uprising. That's the only option that we have. That's the only option that we have as a citizen of this country. That's what we can do. That's what you can do, and that's what I can do, and that's what we can do collectively, because this requires responsibility of all citizens. And not only that, it requires all of us to unite and put all our differences behind and move for the interests of the country. One more time, I welcome all of you to this episode of Concerned Citizen of South Sudan today on 9th of October 2021. While I'm waiting for Ustaz Dengdi Ayok to tune in here, I'm going to go ahead and play a little bit, music just to kill the air, and then we continue. As I promise you, we are going to do 1 hour because I'm here for a mission that I am going to attend, a memorial for late General Butrus Bolbol. That's why I'm here tonight. So thank you so much for tuning in. Please go ahead and share our live broadcast, and we continue. I know, Abraham Medit, you are one of those, beneficiary, or what happening, I don't know. And I don't see any reason here for you to say that Kir must stay, because Kir actually 16 years hasn't done anything to the nation, just continue and engaging for looting and killing and jailing people of South Sudan. People of South Sudan that he claimed that to be fighting for nearly 38 years. People of South Sudan that when we gain independence, he held the book, the constitution said that because our people have suffered enough, people of South Sudan will never cross the border again because of the war that had been created by the people. And now he created a war in 2013, and people of South Sudan continue to cross the border. They continue to suffer. They continue with flood. And journalists, they continue to be jailed. They continue to be shut at them when they write articles, when they speak out. And these are the core values people of South Sudan have been fighting for: justice, liberty, and prosperity. You tell me, say no, Abraham. You tell me no, that people of South Sudan did not fight for these three values: justice, liberty, and prosperity. Where is justice since 2006 when Kir became a leader of that country? What prosperity we can talk about? Where the road, where the hospital, where schools? Other than the leaders of the country are the one that shifting their children outside the country to get a better education, and while their colleagues' children, orphans and widows, continue to suffer in the country. So we don't need to be complicit when we are talking about these issues, because this is a country and this are your people. We cannot be complicit to that extent, because we have seen what is wrong, and wrong always should be wrong, and right should be right. We cannot do that. Right, my brother? So with that, let me go ahead and bring in Ustaz Dengdi Ayok. It's good to see you. It's been a long time, and I'm glad you are here tonight. As I said, this topic there, current political situation in the country, that's what we are discussing tonight. And I mentioned three major events that are taking place. President Kir visiting Ethiopia and actually talking about mediating between the rival in Ethiopia. Statement by Vice President Hussein Abdul Baghi in Eastern Equatoria saying that actually those who are in Juba are the ones that dividing people. Do not listen to them. Is he not one of them? Is Hussein Abdul Baghi try to prove that what we have been saying is true for a very long time? Is that a confession? Is that what it is? And also what happened in Western Equatoria, Ustaz Dengdi Ayok. I welcome you to the program, and I want to give you a podium to greet our viewers and move on from here. Fadal, Ustaz Dengdi.
Thank you very much, Brother Jonkur, for welcoming me to the program, and greetings to all the viewers of Consensus in South Sudan this evening, this afternoon, and this evening. Talking about the current political situation in South Sudan is a good topic, and there are many developments that have taken place during the week. So we have like 4 issues, although they are not all 4, but it seems that we will only talk about these 4 issues. Allow me to talk about the humanitarian situation first before we go to the political issues.
Absolutely.
Okay. The viewers of Concerned Citizens of South Sudan, I believe, are aware of the current humanitarian situation in the country. We talked about it last week, and we gave the details. And the situation is getting worse. The situation has actually worsened. And as we talk here, our people are in water. People are living in water, starting from northern Baragazal State to Warab to Unity State to Jonglei and Upper Nile State. So how many states are they? You have the 2 states in Baragazal, northern Bahr Ghazal and Warab, then you have unity.
Mm.
So let's say 5 states, 3 in Bahr Ghazal, 2 in Bahr Ghazal and 3 in Upper Nile. The people are suffering, and the suffering is a real suffering. It is an immense suffering. People are displaced by water because their houses and the areas where they live are submerged by water, and as a result, there is a real humanitarian crisis in the country. People lack shelter, people lack food, people lack medicine. Malaria cases are on the rise. I read in the news that malaria cases are on the rise, and people are suffering. And among those people, you could imagine that they have elderly people, and they have women and children. These are the suffering people. These are the people who are suffering as a result of the downpour that resulted into floods and which caused humanitarian situation in the country. The UN is trying to do its best to alleviate the suffering of our people, but sadly, the government of the Republic of South Sudan has not do what is expected of it to elevate the suffering of our people in those states. Up to now, we did not see any government official paying a visit or MPs paying visit to the people who are affected by floods in those areas. And this one shows that our government is an irresponsible government. How could you leave the people you claim to be representing in the parliament and in all the institutions of the state to be suffering, and you don't even pay a visit to them to show that you are in solidarity with them, to show them that you sympathize with their situation? So this one shows us that the government is not responsible, that the government is not in solidarity with the people of the Republic of South Sudan. This is a very sad situation, and as we speak here, there are so many pictures that are being circulated on social media showing some villages submerged by water, and showing one of the mothers seated in the water flood.
I saw that actually.
Yes, holding her head between her two hands. This one shows that she's wandering, and that she's in a very problematic situation. So the pictures are heartbreaking. So the humanitarian situation in the country is actually heartbreaking. And the sad thing is that the government is not doing what it is expected to alleviate the suffering of the people. And this shows that the government is not a government for the people. It is a government for self-satisfaction, or a government of self-satisfaction, because they don't care about the people they claim to be representing. So the humanitarian situation in the country has worsened, and it is deteriorating because it has resulted into diseases, and people lack medicines, people lack food, people lack all those things. I would like to appeal for political activists, if they can contribute something to alleviate the suffering of our people. That would be very good, because we political activists, we have a role to play instead of pointing out government weaknesses in dealing with the situation. We have also to come up with initiatives such as collecting something in order to help our people. Although it will be very little and will do nothing, but if we can help people in one village, that would be very enough. That would be enough, and that way we can show our solidarity, and it will show that we really stand with our people, because talking on their behalf is not enough. We need an action also to do something. So this is part of the thoughts that we can implement in order to participate in alleviating the suffering of our people in the country. This is number one. Number two, in Western Equatoria State, some students were given drugs. There is a video, by the way. I saw the video, and the video is horrible. Some students were given drugs in a school, and the drug was meant for curbing diseases such as malaria in the school. And then the drugs turned out to be a dangerous one. The students were taken to the hospital because they were suffering. Some of them were laying down in the hospital, and they could not work. They were completely paralyzed, and this one shows that those who authorize the use of the medicine have committed a great mistake, because they should have not authorized those medicines to be used for the student in the school. As we speak here, there is a great humanitarian crisis as a result of that drug which was given to the student, and the students are suffering. We condemn this one, and we call upon the Minister of Health to investigate this situation and tell the facts to the public why the students were given this drug and who decided it to give these drugs. Of course, the statement was from the Minister of Health in the state, in Western Equatoria State, but we need the National Minister of Health to investigate this and tell the public who authorized that drug to be given to the student. And they have to tell us how is the situation of those students after they were given drugs, because possibly some of those students can die as a result of that drugs which was given to them without proper diagnosis to know the disease first, because you have to diagnose the patient first and know the disease. Absolutely. And then you give or you prescribe the appropriate drug. But if you just prescribe the drug for a disease that you do not know, that this one can result into that humanitarian crisis we have seen. The video is being circulated, by the way, on social media, and you can share tears if you see it, because those students are really suffering. So the state authorities have to be investigated, and anyone who would be found to have authorized that drug for the student have to be brought to book. Yes, they have to be held accountable, because what they have done is something that is heartbreaking, and it is something that is not acceptable. It is something that is against human life. The health authorities in the state and at the national level are there to ensure that every drug which is given to the people of South Sudan has to be prescribed properly, and that the people of South Sudan cannot be harmed by any drug that is prescribed to them, whether by the state health officials or by the national health official. This is my comment on this, and those who have watched this can see the video, or those who would like this can see the video. I have the video, and I think I can share it. I'm sorry that I did not share it with you before I come to the show, but after the show I can send it to you, and you can see it for yourself. It is a pathetic situation, to say the least. So this is concerning the humanitarian situation in the country, the flood-affected areas, and the urgent need for food and medicine, and also the drugs which was given to the student in Western Equatoria State, which resulted into another humanitarian crisis. We would like to know, because this one came out on Tuesday, and we did not know what is the end or what is the conclusion of the story up to now. So this one is very important, and we also call upon the journalists, the media houses, to go there and investigate this matter, and let the public know what is the situation of those students as we speak here, because this one is very important. So we call upon all journalists and media houses to investigate this matter. And by the way, this was reported by one of the journalists on her page, one of the journalists working with Miraya FM. Very good, very good. That is Maurice Mabior Awigjo. That's right. The humanitarian situation in the Republic of South Sudan is escalating, and our people are suffering, and we need urgent action to be taken in order to alleviate the suffering of the people. So this is what I can say about the humanitarian situation, in which I have talked about the floods and the people affected by floods, the 5 states, plus the students that have been given a wrong drug, which resulted into their suffering. We don't know, maybe some of them have died. So it was very important to talk about human beings first and their lives before we go to political issues, because real politics has to show care for the people. Otherwise, we would be here talking about political issues and ignore the humanitarian situation in the country, and that would not be fair for us, because politics in the first place is about human beings and their life and their well-being and their welfare. Yeah. All right, now we go to the second issue. The second issue is the visit of the President of the Republic of South Sudan, General Salva Kiir Mayardit, to the Federal Republic of Ethiopia. Yes, Jonkur? You want to say something?
No.
Hello?
Yeah, Sam, we hear you. So then you continue.
Okay.
Go ahead and continue.
So the second issue is the visit, an official one-day visit by the President of the Republic to the Federal Republic of Ethiopia. That was on the 4th of October, last Sunday, to be exact. That was the 4th of October, last Sunday. The President paid an official one-day visit to Ethiopia. And the purpose of his visit was to go and take part in the inauguration ceremony of His Excellency Dr. Abiy Ahmed, his second inauguration into the office for the second term as Prime Minister of Ethiopia. During the ceremony, the President was given a chance to deliver a speech like any other
dignitaries,
head of states and government that were present in the ceremony. So His Excellency the President, I'm saying His Excellency because this is how they address him.
Yes.
Although we have many reservations on this, that His Excellency. Now, the President was addressing heads of states and government in that ceremony, and he offered himself as a mediator in the ongoing conflict in Ethiopia between the TPLF, that is the Tigray People's Liberation Front, and the Ethiopian government under the leadership of Dr. Abiy Ahmed. Now, this one is controversial because the President has made a political statement by offering himself as a mediator who can mediate between the two warring parties in Ethiopia, that is the government of Ethiopia, led by Abiy Ahmed, and the TPLF, led by the other gentleman, Mr. Mikhail. Now, my comment on this is that any country that can be a mediator in any conflict between the two parties in a neighboring country must address the following issues. First of all, your house must be in order before you go and put the house of someone else in order. So the question is our house in order? Is the Republic of South Sudan okay so that we can have, or so that we can make initiatives to go and mediate in the problems of other people and find solutions for them? If you try to think about this question, the answer will be big no. A country that can mediate in problems of other countries must be a country that has security and stability. And the question is, does the Republic of South Sudan enjoy security and stability? The answer is a big no. If we come to the economy, is our economy okay? How much is our GDP in a year? If you look into our economic situation, you will really regret, because as we speak here, the prices are still high, and the citizens are suffering from the consequences of the high prices in the market as we speak here. As we speak here, people are hungry in the Republic of South Sudan. A family cannot afford to have breakfast and have a dinner or have a supper. Some people just only eat one meal, and some people sleep with empty stomachs. This is now the situation in the Republic of South Sudan. So there is no security. People are dying everywhere in different parts of the country. The economy, our economy has melted down already, and people are already hungry. And then if you look into our health system, it is completely down. There is no health system in the place. If you look at our educational system, there is no educational system in place. If you look at our physical infrastructure, there is no physical infrastructure in place. So what am I trying to say here? What I'm trying to say is that the government of the Republic of South Sudan, which is supposed to do all these things, did not do anything of this. Because putting your house in place means offering all these things, that your people, that your economy must be okay, and that none of your people should be hungry or starving to death, as it is the situation now in the Republic of South Sudan, and that your education system should be proper, your health system, everything. That is putting your house in order. Now, the president is talking about solving some other problems, a regional problem in Ethiopia, while he did not solve these issues. The issue of insecurity, he did not solve it. Health issues, educational issues, physical infrastructure, even our own peace, Mr. Jonkor, and the viewer, our own peace. The president did not implement that peace, the alleged peace, the supposed peace. The president did not implement that peace. Now he is going to Ethiopia to tell the people of Ethiopia that I am ready to mediate and I can put an end to the conflict, the ongoing conflict in the Tigray region, while he did not settle his issues with Riek Machar. He did not settle his issues with Thomas Cirillo and Soma. He did not settle the issues of peace with Paul Malongawan. He did not settle issues of peace with other groups. There is a conflict in our country. He did not solve it. How comes that the president make a statement in Ethiopia that he can be a mediator to solve the Ethiopian problem while he did not solve our own problem? This is political hypocrisy.
Yes.
And the people of South Sudan should not believe this. This is a mere political propaganda. What he delivered was a speech. It was just a speech, by the way. He did not mean to do anything. So our president is very poor in terms of leadership, in terms of putting our house in order. He is very poor. So you have to be a very rich man first, and then you go and make other people rich people. So this is the situation. And when I read the statement, I sent the statement. I shared the statement with you. The statement issued by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. They put this one there, that the president is ready to mediate and find an end or find a solution to the ongoing problem in the Tigray region of Ethiopia. This is political hypocrisy, and it is not acceptable. It is not acceptable at all.
He cannot even find to a communal conflict that he created, between the Puk and Agwag, and he's talking about, the PLF, the government of Ethiopia.
The TPLF and the Ethiopian government, yes.
Yeah.
So in my final analysis, this is political hypocrisy, and the people of South Sudan should not pay attention to that one. And not only the people of South Sudan, the people of Ethiopia also should not pay attention to what the president said. And I like what was done to the president. Do you know who received the president upon his arrival? And upon his arrival into Bauli International Airport in Addis Ababa, he was received by the Minister of Education. He was not received by His Excellency Abiy Ahmed, the Prime Minister. And that one was a message to the president. That was a very strong message to him because the Ethiopian government is not even happy with the president because, you know, the issue of the Renaissance Dam between Egypt and Ethiopia and the role of South Sudan in this. The other thing, South Sudan is also harboring some opposition figures, Ethiopian opposition figures in Juba. They are there in Juba. So Abiy Ahmed was sending a message to the president that he was not happy with him, and that's why he did not go to Bola International to receive him in person. So he sent him a minister of education that received the president, and the pictures are already there on the presidential press unit. Everyone who would like to know can go there and see this for himself or herself. Yes, Yonko.
Actually, Ustaz Dengi, not to cut you off, Ethiopia has been respecting South Sudan for a very long time. You know, since we gained our independence, they are not like Egyptian. You know, Egyptian, they used to send, you know, Ministry of Water and Irrigation and whatever, you know, to receive the president. And they treat us like, you know, a little child, you know, president of South Sudan. But Ethiopia, they have been there. They have been supportive of South Sudan. I have seen, you know, Meles now in the airport always. I have seen Abiy Ahmed always in the airport. But how that kid has taken in several years, as a man is not building a good region. And that's why they must respond, you know, because this Renaissance Dam, as you said, is a beneficial. Who's going to be beneficiary of this Renaissance Dam? It's whole entire East Africa, electricity, energy, you know, employment opportunity. So, yeah, I agree with you. They have right to send Ministry of Education. At least it can, you know, show him some education.
Yes.
As well. Go ahead.
Yes, to send a message to him that they were not happy. And Ethiopia is a sisterly country. It is a country that President Kiir should really establish genuine relationship or ties with them, because Ethiopia all along in our history have been supportive to the people of South Sudan. You will all remember that the first peace agreement was brokered by His Majesty, the Emperor Haile Selassie. That was in 1972. And they gave a great support to the people of South Sudan. In 1983, when the SPLA was established, it was Ethiopia that became our sanctuary. And Ethiopia gave us land to open our training centers for our army, and they gave us radio. President Kiir is a witness because he was there. He was part of this. Today, he has turned his back to the people of Ethiopia. And that's why the people of Ethiopia are educating him by sending him the Minister of Education as some sort of complaint and to indicate to him that they are not happy with him. But Ethiopia is a sisterly country, and the issue of Renaissance Dam is one of the issues that the President Kiir should have stood firm to support. But President Kiir has turned down the people. Sadly, he said he has turned down the people of Ethiopia. But we still support our people in Ethiopia. He turned them down in favor of Egypt. And as we talk here, I read something. I don't know whether it is real or not. I read something on social media 1 hour ago that President Kiir is going to Cairo tomorrow. I don't know whether this is true or something just on social media, because I did not read something in the news, outlet. They said he's going to Egypt tomorrow. So I'm not sure whether this is true. So this is just as an information. So this is concerning the visit of the president to Ethiopia and the statement he made there. The statement he made is meaningless, and he has to put his house first in order. But above all, the president has no capacity to put our house in order.
In order, yes.
Because he has, we have given him enough time, 16 years in power. President Kiir was sworn in on August 11, 2005, in the presidential palace in Khartoum as the first vice president of the republic. And then he was sworn in later in the same month as the president of the government of Southern Sudan in Juba. So August has already gone. We are now in October. So he has spent 16 years in power. And in those 16 years, he has not been able to put our house in order. And now he is claiming to go, he's claiming that he can put the house of our neighbors in order. This is hypocrisy, and nobody should believe him. Instead, the people of South Sudan must ask him to go. He has to step down and go because he has failed us, and what he is saying is not true. Somebody would take him as a man who was representing the people of South Sudan and expressing the goodwill of the people of South Sudan in maintaining peace in the region. But the statement he made was not representing us. It was representing himself. Because if he was truly representing us, he would have put South Sudan into order first before he goes to the neighboring countries and try to make some promises or to make some commitments. So this is political hypocrisy. Now, I think the next issue, what was the third issue?
The third issue, the statement by Vice President.
The third issue, the fourth issue. Yes, the third issue, the fourth issue was the statement. You know, the statement is already there in the iRadio. He visited Western Equatorial State last Wednesday. That was last Wednesday. And when he was given a chance to address the civilians in the area, he urged them not to listen to the politicians in Juba or to the Juba politicians who are destabilizing the state in the area. In my opinion, this is a very serious statement because he made that statement in his capacity as first vice president for services Kalasta. Okay? And any statement coming from a person like Hussein Abdul Baghi, who is a vice president, should not be ignored. It reflects something genuine. It reflects the real politics of the government. Now, telling the citizens in Western Equatorial State that they should not listen to the politicians in Juba because those politicians are the ones causing problems. And he was talking actually about the problem that happened in Tombora. It happened in July throughout August until September. Now, this is a clear confirmation of what we have been saying here in this forum. We said several times that what is happening in Western Equatorial State, the problem that happened, the unrest that happened in Tombora was engineered and designed by the government. We said this. Now, the vice president went and said the same thing, confirming what we said earlier here in this forum.
Yes.
All right. So this is a clear confession. And what we said earlier was not just a mere accusation. It was true. Because from day one, we knew that this was the government. First of all, if you look into the details of the conflict going on in Western Equatorial State, you will find that the former governor of the defunct Tumbra state during the 32 state, Mr. Patrick Rafael Zemoy, is accused to have been to be behind what happened in Tumbra. This is one. Madam Nunukumba, the Speaker of the National Assembly, is also accused to be behind what is happening in the state. Some MPs in the state are also accused to be behind what happened in the state. Another person accused also to be behind what is happening is the governor, the current governor, the IO governor. His name is Alfred Kotoya Karabakh. Mr. Alfred is now the governor of Western Equatorial State, and he is an SPLM-IO governor. So you see what is happening is caused by these people, and it is even mentioned in the report It is there in the report. Their names are there mentioned in the report. This is not me who is accusing them. It is something that is mentioned in the report, and I'm saying it as it is. I have no any intention of accusing any of those personalities, because somebody would jump in and tell me and say that you don't need to mention names. But sometimes we need to mention names because the names are already there in the report.
Yes.
So you see, these are the people causing the problem in Western Equatorial State, as the Vice President Hussein Abdel Baghi was saying it to the civilian. So what does this mean? It means that the government in Juba is responsible for what happened in Tumbura. The government is responsible for the killing of the civilians, the killing of the local dignitaries, the chiefs, and others, the commissioner of Tumbura. You see? So this one was engineered by the politicians in Juba. The question is why? Why are they doing this? What is their benefit? What is the benefit out of all this mess? The benefit is a political benefit. They want to prolong their stay in power. They want to control the state power. If you look into it critically also, they would like to destabilize the time of Mr. Fotoya, because he's an SPLM IO governor. They don't want to see him putting things in order in the state. So there is political antagonism in the state. The government is fighting within itself, and as they fight, they are killing the civilians. So this is what is happening in Western Equatorial State, and we would like to appreciate and thank Mr. Abdel Baghi for going there and addressing our people and confessing and confirming what we have been saying in the show here. Absolutely. Now, no one would come and say that we were wrong. Yeah. We are wrong because our political reading to the situation and the information that we have is concrete and accurate. And when we talk here, we talk about something we know very well, something that we have studied, not something that is a fabrication or a lie. So this is my comment on what I can say, on the ongoing situation in Western Equatorial State.
Ustaz Dengdi, thank you. As we promised that we are going to just to keep it today under 1 hour. We've seen this drama and we've seen this game that have been played over and over again by President Kiir regime and his colleagues, in that government. And we have been sending very strong messages to the people of South Sudan that actually Kiir has been using political deception since he took over. 16 years with no clean water, 16 years with no hospitals, 16 years with no infrastructure, 16 years with no security. So 16 years introducing the four evil, looting, killing, corruption. These are the things that actually he's good at it. Now, since people of South Sudan have none all of things that we have mentioned, what is the way forward? And we have been talking about this numerous times, and we will never, stop talking about this. What is the way forward, Ustaz Dengdi?
I think before we come to the issue of way forward, there was an item. There was one more item. That is the Kid Guam. I think we need to make some comment on the Kid Guam declaration. Then we come to the way forward.
Okay.
Now, we are all witness that last week in Khartoum, Mr. Tut Galwak paid a visit by the end of September toward the beginning of October this month.
Yes.
Tut Galwak, who is the presidential advisor on security, paid a visit to Khartoum. Now, the purpose of his visit in the first place was to go and talk to the Sudanese authorities concerning the oil, the South Sudanese oil that has been blocked by the bigger people in Eastern Sudan, because you are aware of the situation in Sudan.
Yeah, in Port Sudan, particularly in Port Sudan.
Yes, that the bigger chiefs have decided to close the region. They decided to shut down their region. and hence all the goods and products that come from Port Sudan to Khartoum are stopped. And this has obstructed or blocked the South Sudanese oil that is exported through Port Sudan to Europe. And so the government in Juba was disturbed, and the government was worried about the issue of the blockage of South Sudan oil export through Port Sudan by the bigger ships. All right. And so Tudkel or Tudgalwak was sent from Juba by the president to come and talk to the Sudanese authorities in order to find a solution to this one. The members of the Sudanese Sovereign Council, those of Shamsuddin Kabashi, those other members of the sovereign of the Council of Sovereignty, the Sudanese Sovereignty Council, went to Eastern Sudan and they tried to talk to the bigger chiefs, but there was no solution to the problem. Now, Tut was in Khartoum for this purpose, and as we talk now, Eastern Sudan is still closed, and the South Sudan oil is not yet the flow of South Sudan oil is not yet resumed, and therefore there is no export of South Sudanese oil. So Tut was in Khartoum to find solution for this. But on his agenda also, on the agenda of his visit, he had the Kidwang group in mind. And so he met the leader of the Kidwang group, who is General Simon Gadwich Dual, and his deputy General Johnson Oloin Tabo. And they started talk. They started to
reach a deal.
Yes. They started to talk in order to reach a political deal. And you all remember that before they met in Khartoum, there was a radio interview that was conducted by Radio Tamazuch with the two generals. First, it was Johnson Olony. Secondly, it was General Gadwich. And both generals talk about negotiating a peace deal with the government of Juba. General Olony was heard saying that they are willing to reach a peace deal with the government in Juba, and that Salva Kiir is not their enemy, and that their enemy is Riek Machar. The same thing was echoed by General Gadwich Dual, because many people who listened to Johnson Olony thought he was speaking as Johnson Olony, and they thought that he broke up with General Gadwich. But when General Gadwich was interviewed by the same radio station, he confirmed what General Johnson Olony said. So they were reading on the same page. That was the development. Now in Khartoum they met, and we have seen General Gadwich Dual talking, saying that he was for peace, and وهو قال بالعربي, he said in Arabic that أنا مع سلام وأنا زول بتاع سلام 100%, that he is 100% for peace. He said that one. The same thing also was echoed by Johnson Olony. But now, if you look into the details of the negotiation, of course, the two generals or the two gentlemen, Gadwich Dual and his deputy, are not politicians. They are military. And they don't know the art of negotiation, given their background as military. And so they met with Tut and his delegation. In the delegation was Dr. Dio Mathok and others. And so they talked verbally. They did not write any paper to be like their position and how the negotiation should go ahead. But they made a statement in which they reiterated their commitment for peace in South Sudan. But there was nothing written as a basis on which the negotiations should be based. And so the Sudanese side, when the Sudanese head of, I don't know, was it head of military intelligence, when he was given a chance to talk, he said them that if you have something written, bring it next time. And this one was embarrassing. It shows that there was nothing written, and that the two gentlemen were just there talking verbally to the government delegation. Now, coming to the issue whether this is a real peace, I am skeptical whether this one is a real peace, because it looks like the government in Juba is trying to buy the two gentlemen to accept peace, a peace which will not be implemented. And now, if you look into the issue critically, you will find that General Gadwish Dual and his deputy broke away from Riek Machar because they were not satisfied with the security arrangement issue. They were heard in the media talking and blaming Riek Machar to have gone to Juba without security arrangement in place first. And now it seems that Juba has succeeded in bringing them to the negotiations, and they are now trying to repeat the same mistake that was committed by Dr. Machar, accepting peace, and then they will be deceived, they will be diluted to go into Juba, and after they are in Juba, then nothing will go ahead. Of course, they will go to Juba very soon, and they would stay in the hotel. Maybe they would be absorbed into the army, but in the end, nothing would be implemented. So this supposed peace that is being brokered by.
So interestingly, Johnson Ullen is always have been talking about the land, on the past when he has been asked, he said, "Oh, my issue has nothing to do with politics. My issue has nothing to do with position. My issue has something to do with the land." Is the issue of land in Malakal now has been solved, or I wonder, exactly what these people are up to.
Yes, that is a very good point. That was in the 2013 interview, TV interview by General Malak Ayuen, the director of SSPDF for moral orientation. When he interviewed Johnson Olony, he said that he was fighting for the Cholo land that was grabbed or confiscated. That's what he said then. But over time, it seemed that General Johnson Olony developed some political ideas, and he appeared to be having political ambition of getting a political position in the government and something like this. So the issue of Cholo land is no longer now a central issue or a main issue. Maybe they would put it there in the negotiations, but I doubt that the government would find a lasting solution for the issue of land between the Cholo, between our people, the Cholo, and the Padang Dinka in Upper Nile state. So the case of land or the issue of land is not part of this anymore. Anyway, we are there, and we shall see. If it is part of this negotiation, we will also see it. But apparently, the issue of Cholo land is no longer a priority now. The priority now is that General Johnson Olony and Gadwijual would like to negotiate with the government, and then they will reach a deal. The deal would give them some position in the government and in the army, and then they would be in Juba very soon. So it seems the government is using the policy of buying the political rivals. So what Tooth is doing is not peace negotiation. It is actually buying the opposition figures, especially those soldiers. This is what is happening. And I don't believe that this peace, if it is signed later on, if they are really going to sign anything, would not be a real peace. The government is trying to deceive them and make sure that they are in Juba and this. Now, politically, this is a political tool for weakening Riek Machar, because these soldiers broke away from Riek Machar, and the government is now trying its best to negotiate with them and bring them on board. And by doing so, this will weaken Riek Machar, because Riek Machar is already weakened by Mr. Jonkur. Since he went to Juba,
Absolutely.
he was never allowed to travel to any place. He is not even allowed to go to church on Sunday. He's only commuting between his office and his house. He's commuting between the two, the office and the house. And that's all.
There is a point here also I wanted
So
to make.
he is, my power is off, but you can still hear my voice. There is no problem.
Yeah, I hear your voice. Yeah, what I was saying here, it seemed to me, Tut Galwak, Tut Kel, he play a role that actually he went to Juba, he went to Khartoum, and he was able, to convince those, in Khartoum, said, hey, you got to kick these guys out if we wanted to have that good relationship with you here. And is that maybe that's what happening with those of Simon Gadwidwal and Johnson Uling? I could be wrong, but I am reading from that perspective too. It may be something happening, and then they don't see any path, for a support. And that's why they have to surrender anyway, and get a position and have a kumbaya, celebration with Riek Machar or whoever in Juba there. Don't you see it that way also, something?
I think the way you see it is also correct, because as we talk here, some people are saying that these soldiers did not come to Khartoum on their own or on their will, on their free will, that the Sudanese government was exercising pressure on them to bring them to Khartoum in order to reach a deal with the government in Juba. And so the conclusion was that these soldiers have responded to the call by the Sudanese government in order to broker, in order to reach a political deal with the authorities in Juba. Because, the Sudanese government is also playing a role in these issues. The Sudanese government is behind. You will remember the Hamiti. Hamiti is the one now playing these issues. You remember this because he is also engaged in some business with the government in Juba, and a lot of things are happening there. And you will remember that he was the mediator, you see, between Machar and the government. So I don't think that you would be wrong, because everything can happen, because politics in South Sudan is uncertain. You see, there is uncertainty in South Sudanese politics. So you can be right in saying that. So this is what we can say about the Kid Gwang group negotiating with the government in Juba. We say that this is not a genuine peace. The government is trying to buy those soldiers, and once they are in Juba, the government will ignore them. And it seems that these soldiers are only after political positions or military positions. This is what is happening. But also, things can go the other way around, because anything can happen. They may have responded to the call by the Sudanese government, or to the pressure exercised on them by the Sudanese government. And that's why they pretended to be like people who are for peace. But politics in South Sudan is unpredictable. But all in all, we say that this peace is not a genuine peace, because the government of South Sudan is not a government that is for peace. And it is not a government that is willing to implement all peace deals that they sign with any opposition group. So what is the way forward? The way forward is that the people of South Sudan have to rise up, and they have to protest. They have to protest in an uprising against this government, and this government must be brought down, and a new government should come up. A new government that will bring real peace, a new government that would build the country, because this current government is a government that is not sincere, whether in peace talks, whether in the program of nation building, whether in the program of creating harmony and unity between the people of South Sudan. It is the government that is there to destroy the unity of the people of South Sudan, to divide the South Sudanese, to hate themselves. As we see, this is what is happening in South Sudan. And so this government must go. And for this government to go, it is the people that will let it go. And this is the way forward. And we will continue to preach this message. I am sorry, I'm in darkness. I'm speaking to you in darkness because the power is off. But the good thing is that my battery is full, and I can still talk to the viewers, and they can still hear my voice.
Yeah. Well, Ustaz Dengit, maybe the question of way forward, maybe our viewers didn't get it because it was cut off somehow. Can you repeat that one more time?
Yes, I said that the way forward, it is clear that the nature of this government, that this government is not a government for the people. It is not a government for peace. It is not a government for national unity. It is not a government for the nation building, because we have talked about the humanitarian situation in the country, and you have seen what the government did. The government is not sincere in any political peace it signs with the opposition. And so we are saying that this peace that Tud Galwag is trying to broker between the Kidguang group and the government in Juba is not a real peace. This is another deception, and the people of South Sudan should not believe it. And so the way forward is that the people of South Sudan have to rise up and topple this government in a popular uprising and bring an end to their suffering, so that a new government is installed, a government that will bring harmony between the people of South Sudan, a government that will build the nation, a government that will bring true peace, security, and stability for our suffering people, a government that will take care of the people of South Sudan, a government that will do whatever citizens expect from their government to do for them. So this is the way forward, and I hope my voice is clear and it is heard by whoever is watching the show.
It is. Dengdi Ayog. And with that, thank you so much. Thank you for staying late and always being there for concerned citizens of South Sudan, to enlighten our people, for a great message, to understand what's going on in the country. I really, really appreciate you, Dengdi. Until then, I would let you go because we promised our viewers that tonight we are going to do only 1 hour. Thank you so much for coming on and doing this. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonkor, for having me. Thank you for this great discussion. Until we meet next time. Bye-bye.
Inshallah. With that, viewers of concerned citizens of South Sudan, I know for sure, like I said from the beginning, I'm not in my base tonight. I'm not in Seattle. I'm here in Nebraska. I'm in Omaha, Nebraska, actually attending the memorial for late General Butrus Bolbol. All of you have known about him very well. It's, to come and pay that tribute to what he has done, particularly in the country and particularly to the region of Northern Barghazal, restricting those of Miseria from coming and attacking, the people of Northern Barghazal in Keiradem and other areas. So we salute late General. He has done, as I said from the beginning, he was a soldier, he's a general, he's a father, he's a brother, he's an uncle, he's a husband, and all this. So he has done many, and he has done his part, as someone who is concerned, of course. So until then, I thank you so much, for being part of Concerned Citizen of South Sudan. We have heard from Ustaz Dengdi, the way forward is to remove this government because they are there for nothing. They are there to loot. 16 years with no clean water, 16 years with no infrastructure, 16 years with no decency. And people of South Sudan, actually, they fought for 22 years for justice, liberty, and prosperity. Where is prosperity that we are talking about? While we produce amount of oil and nothing has been done. We see orphans in the street. We see widows in the street. We see those, veterans. They are not getting anything. So that's not South Sudan that we dream of. That's not South Sudan we need. The South Sudan that we need is South Sudan that can become economic zone, as Ustaz Dengdi has put it in the previous program. So the only way forward is to remove this man, that man with the black hat, because he has nothing else. to do in the country except looting. So thank you so much for being part of Concerned Citizen of South Sudan. Until we meet you again, inshallah, next week when I'm back. Thank you so much. And I will leave you with this Muhammad Wardi song, sung by a Somalian guy, actually. Who was a Somalian guy, did it. And I like that one. And we meet again, inshallah, next week when I'm returning back. I will return back tomorrow, definitely. And if you have an opportunity, you may share that live video.
صبرت واستنيت كثير أتمنى صبرت.
Thank you so much.
واستنيت كثير أتمنى أماني نفسي وأقول بكرة الجنة ومن بعيد يا من ويا ما أسألنا ومن قلبي بدعي لك مع عين أتهنى تخجلي يا سمح قول استعجلي ما تخجلي يا حلوة قول استعجلي عطشت قلبي كل يوم تجملي أديني كلمة وسامحيني وطولي.
Thank you.
كبرت وليت 19 سنة كبرت وليت 19 سنة عمر زور عمر الغرام وعمر المنى عمر زور عمر الغرام وعمر المنى أتمنى يوم تجمعنا